Couldn't tell by the uniform.
Triple FP Final Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Snow Ninja. I am joined by Dougie Fresh, as always, and
Yeah.
at Heinzman Jerseys. Again, I just want to congratulate Heinzman Jerseys on reaching 1,000 followers on Instagram. That is
Yo,
a
yo.
milestone stretch. Again, when did you start Heinzman Jerseys on Instagram?
Appreciate that. I want to say it was like November 2020. Let me go back right now and see what my first
Your
post
first post
was.
I
was?
definitely know I bought my first jersey from you at
Yeah.
least halfway through the season, right? Like
October
I felt
20,
it felt pretty early.
my very first post was October 27th. So
October.
end of October, early
And
November, yeah.
that's amazing. You went not even a full year and you
Less
got
than
a
a year.
thousand. Yeah, less than a year and you got 1,000 followers. And hell, going at that rate, man. If you have 2,000 followers in a shorter amount of time, I'd be so happy for you. And that's something that could definitely be a possibility.
Yeah, man. So my goal is to kind of top another 1,000, hit 2,000 by the end of the football season. That'll be pretty nice.
That is pretty nice. And I remember actually going back to what Dougie said that I bought a jersey from you like right at Christmas too, and that took forever.
Yeah,
I know you were kind of like fresh into like getting started and
I
everything,
was
but
brand new into it. Yeah.
yeah, and I saw your post earlier. I know it's like getting a little lengthy and like shipment wise, but it's also because you probably have like a lot of people like buying
Oh
jerseys
yeah.
from you.
And I got nonstop DMs asking for updates on jerseys.
Yeah. And just on behalf of Heinzman Jersey, Triple FP has come such a long way. And to me, I want to thank you guys one more time. I know it sounds like we're finishing up the podcast, but I want to like do something a little different and just start with thanking you guys again. It's like it feels like almost yesterday that we just talked about doing something like this, and for it to come this far. And I want to start with saying that Triple FP had such a big week over, like the past weekend, just going from getting started from the jerseys giveaway, and then the likes on Facebook just kept adding up, and then especially big thanks to Heinzman Jerseys for giving us the shout out and everything, and even Dougie Fresh there with his Twitter handle.
Double digits on Twitter.
I got
Yeah.
I got 12 I got 12 followers now. I'm so happy.
Hey,
We got double
the
digits,
goal is
baby.
triple digits, triple digits. We don't
Yeah.
make it.
Right? We set small milestones, man. We'll get there.
I
One goal at a
Exactly.
time.
That's exactly it, and I'm gonna say like we are near 40 likes on Facebook. It's coming and going, and again I appreciate it. All the shout outs from Heinzman Jerseys, and especially this whole giveaway thing has been I think something that I've planned that I wanted to do, and I just want to let our viewers know and our listeners that we will be doing a drawing next week once we are into football, and that's the starting week of preseason. So exciting! We have the Thursday night football of the Hall of Fame game with the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just happy that we could go finally every Sunday with football from now on.
Oh, isn't it exciting? I mean, isn't that the goal? Just to get to August. I mean, you get through hockey playoffs, you get through NBA playoffs. All you got is boring baseball until they have their playoffs, and so you kind of just
hmm
have that lull in the middle of the summer. Man, July is kind of a boring month for sports. So once August hits, training camps are opening up. You're doing your mock drafts, you're getting ready for fantasy, and all of a sudden, boom! It's football season. It's exciting. It's like when you hit the beginning of December and you just know Christmas is right around the corner.
Absolutely, and it's
How long the off season is for football, but it makes me appreciate the season so much more.
All right. It's like the
absolutely.
summer in
So
Alaska.
exactly, you know.
I'm the only one still here too out of you guys. Yeah, it makes me appreciate the summer so much more here. Again, uh, with Triple FP, like man, it was such a long like drought season, and this is like my first like off season making this like whole podcast, and
Yeah,
I
because we
think
started the end of last season, right? I want
yes
to
we
say in the
did like
playoffs.
the
We
playoffs,
started
yeah,
the playoffs.
wild
Yes,
card,
I
yep,
think it
Yeah,
was wild card weekend.
wild
Yep.
card
that's
weekend, that was
amazing.
it, yeah.
That's amazing.
That was the
And
first episode, the wild card episode. Yeah.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right. And for us to like go through this drought of the off season, I think we nailed it as our first year. That's a pat on the back to me. I think we did a good job. I know like we didn't have much content throughout, but I think
We tried.
yeah,
We did
I
our
think
best.
especially year two, like when we actually get rolling, like I think we'll definitely figure out ways just to keep to be more consistent about it, even if it's like slow and dead in the off season. We could I'm still dying to try to do a video game podcast with you, Dougie.
That's gonna be all y'all. Sorry, I don't game.
Yeah, no, that's all good,
Yes, he
man. Me and
does.
Jolin just do a
I
little
play
video
Apex and
game.
Madden,
Da-
2K maybe.
did Dougie download Apex Legends yet?
I did download Apex, yes. So you guys get off my ass about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
but then put your shit in rest mode because there's about to be a new season out, so it's got to update.
Dude, I've used so much storage on my PlayStation. See, this is what happens when we start talking about video games. We stop talking about
Exactly.
football.
And that's the thing. Now that
But do you have
Dougie
a hard drive? You have a hard drive?
I already have external hard drive
Yes,
that
he
I've come.
does.
I have
That he fills up
1.5
probably.
terabytes that is filled up. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got space, bro.
He
You'd be
No, I
alright.
don't.
Yeah, no, but
I
speaking
don't.
of this video game show podcast that hopefully will come out here soon. I know the NFL season is upon us. We definitely plan, Dougie, Fresh, and I plan to have no football talk at all in this podcast, and hopefully it'll come here real soon that we'll plan for it. But this is Triple FP, and this episode is strictly talking about
Strictly sleepers.
yeah, strictly sleepers, but we're going to go ahead and talk about let's start off with Carson Wentz injury because that happened
Ooh.
pretty recently.
Yo, the Colts fans are punching the air right now. They are so mad.
I mean, it's kind of a waste of draft or not drafting, getting the trade through him and picking him up. Hopes and dreams, you weren't sure what was to come, but it's just the fact that now it's like all those plans are out the window and you really don't know what's to come. You don't even know who your quarterback is now.
Yeah. A little bit of my take on it is like who can take I don't know if the Colts drafted a quarterback. I feel like
They did last year.
Oh, they did.
Last year they did.
But I feel like who can the Colts like front office really choose to kind of back up Carson Wentz during this time that he's out for?
Nick Foles.
I keep hearing that, and that would
That's-
just make it
Um,
way more awkward than it is.
There's a couple options that I prefer over Nick Foles.
Several.
My very first question though is what happened to Jacoby Brissett? This is the perfect time to give
Right?
homeboy a
I
call.
know.
This is the perfect time to give Brissett a call. He already knows the offense.
Exactly.
He
yeah.
was the backup for the longest time. But if that's not an option, another person that I really like is Gardner Minshew. I know he's in the rival team right now, but
Yeah.
he's a starter worthy quarterback, and the Jaguars aren't really gonna give him a starting position.
Yeah, that's a good point. Though the intra-divisional trade, I don't see happening.
Exactly.
Um,
Just because it's a such an important position and the rivals, it's not likely to happen. But I would like.
Yeah, to answer your question, Jacoby Brissett, you wish you would have him right now, but he's actually backing up Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. And I didn't even know
Is that what it was?
that's where he
Ooh.
is.
okay.
So, now you
Wow.
really wish you kept Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, most definitely.
And
Especially when you trade it for an injury-prone quarterback, like.
Yeah.
The other options I'm thinking of is, some guys that are competing for jobs right now. You're not sure if they're going to start or not. Jameis Winston could be one of them. The other guy, Teddy Bridgewater, or even Drew Lock, depending on where the Broncos want to go over there. So who knows? I'd say it doesn't matter. You kind of got like bottom of the barrel options here going on with the quarterback situation in the NFL right now. It's kind of like when you get to the bottom of your fantasy draft and you start looking at who's actually left, and you're like, "Oh crap, do I really have to take Ben Roethlisberger?" I mean, yeah, and you got to do what you got to do.
I feel like the Colts should draft like a trade for a Kyle Allen. Is Andy Dalton available? Is Jay Cutler available?
Ben DiNucci.
I mean, what's Nick Foles' situation right now? Is he a free agent?
I don't think anyone wants to mess with that, man. Does he
I
still
don't think
have
that
that?
should even be an option. He's still in Chicago as of.
Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't he have that huge contract? What did the Bears ever do with that?
He is not in because they picked up Andy Dalton. They wouldn't pick up Andy Dalton if they still had him.
Somebody
Yeah.
Google it.
I'm looking
It
it up
still
right
says
now. Nick
Foles is a Bear.
It says Chicago. Yeah.
It still says he's a Bear.
Nick
So.
returns for his Foles returns for his second season in Chicago. Through this time, nowhere close to starting duties with Andy Dalton and Justin Fields ahead of him. So he's
So
third string.
they've absorbed the contract for Nick Foles that he signed with the Jaguars in the trade. Then they go on to sign Andy Dalton and draft Justin Fields, and they say so they have this huge. No, I wouldn't say it's a quarterback controversy because I think we all know that Justin Fields should be starting, but it's the fact that you have your third string quarterback probably making the most money on that roster.
Mm,
That's ridiculous. Oh man, poor
yeah.
Bears fans, guys,
Yeah.
out there in Chicago.
Yeah. I think the Colts are doing everything right. Like they're not really in cap hell either, compared to many of the other teams that that we mentioned. But
Hey, if shit turns sideways, they could be the front runner for Deshaun Watson.
oh
But again, that's still Bear. I don't think they're going to want to try to trade for Deshaun Watson when they don't even know if he's going to play it because that's not going to help their situation any. At least not for this season. Again, it's a toss up with that. Who knows?
Oh,
So
because is he going to be suspended or doesn't he have service and like a little suspension?
nobody knows. He could be put on the commissioner's exempt list, so he can't play football at all.
But I mean, they got Jacob Easton. They drafted him last
yeah,
year.
that's what I'm saying.
He could be a solid option. You know, like
He is the option I think right now. That's what
He is
Frank
the
Reich-
They should be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
They will. They will
Yeah.
figure it out before the season comes, of course.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
and it's
They
not
might.
like Wentz isn't out for season, so it's not.
Yep.
No, but 5 to 12 weeks. I saw a
That's-
tweet earlier that was actually hilarious. It said Carson Wentz will most likely be out 5 to 12 weeks, and then somebody commented that will most likely be the record for the Colts this year if they don't find another starting quarterback. Will be 5 and 12.
Nice.
No, like for the Colts fans, listen, this hurts, man. Like
Yeah, my apologies. Well, it's like when Ben got hurt for the Steelers at the beginning of the 2019 season. It's like, all right, that's it. It's kind of over. We could do our best, but no real hope. We did all right, but
for Carson Wentz fans, I didn't mean to make that a pun. Like, I'm sorry, this hurts. Jalen Hurts. No one got that. Okay. Because he kind of replaced. But anyway,
crickets.
I want to talk about this Carson Wentz injury. How much impact does it make towards the just the record of the Colts? Like, are they going from like a second, third of the division to like bottom? Because I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Because they're still.
It's hard to say,
I mean,
man.
Well, I think the main difference is it takes them from a playoff team to a non-playoff team,
Yeah.
like a wild.
I think
to a
the
non-playoff
Texans
team.
are still the worst team without Deshaun Watson. Like if they don't have
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, they are clearly the worst team in that division. No matter
Yes.
who the Colts have going on, the Colts could run wild card or wildcat all season long and not have a problem, and they will still be better than the Colts.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it's better than the Texans. With
Yeah.
the Texans, they have no chance really if they don't have Deshaun Watson. They don't have any stars on that team. At least the Colts, you got Jonathan Taylor, man. You could run that ball all day long and at least have some chances, have some hope. Have decent enough quarterback play where you'll be able to
And their defense
fill in
is
the
very
gaps.
nice.
And their
still solid.
defense is clutch right now, whereas Houston just lost their star
Exactly.
defensive lineman. It's two different worlds. The Jags again could be some crap, and who knows? The Colts, I still feel like will be in contention for that division with Tennessee as long as they figure something out. Most likely wild card team at best, but I mean the 5 and 12 record that they could end up with is very realistic.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, just a little my take on some of the past podcasts that I had talked about, and I still believe that the Colts have the best offensive linemen, and whoever plays quarterback, I think they're still going to be very successful because just of that O-line protecting the quarterback, and it's really a big competition between, just as you said, Dougie, the Titans and the Colts. So it's from whoever takes that first place to, I think, the Colts being second place in their division, just with the Jags right behind them.
Yeah, and like you said, that great offensive line, they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to move it.
Jonathan
If they
Taylor.
get decent enough if they get decent enough quarterback play in there, they will be able to work around it, fill in the gaps, and it will be halfway decent. So that's at best. You're hoping that they get at least 11 wins, 11-6.
Yeah.
So that might be good enough for a wild card spot this year.
Well, also, their Jacob Easton,
Yeah.
he sat behind Phillip Rivers last year, so he was taking lots of notes.
Mm.
He might just turn out to be nice.
Can I just?
You know what? Hold on. I want to say this real quick. If that's the case, I hope the notes were toss it to the running back, just like Phillip Rivers always did. If that's the case, I mean, we don't know, but still, if that's the case, if Easton is going to toss it to the running back like Rivers always did when he just checks down, Jonathan Taylor's value goes up for me. He might be a first-round running back at that point.
Hey, fuck it. Just roll with it.
Hey, hear me out.
But
Hear me out.
go on. Yeah.
Whoever in that organization can call Phillip Rivers. I know he's coaching high school football, but hey, call him back. Get him back in the lineup. Or call Andrew Luck. What do you think? One or the other.
Next. All I could say is I don't think they're going to be able to do much in the quarterback situation beyond what they already have, maybe. Looking at the fantasy situation coming up, I don't think the receivers are impacted too much because we didn't know what the reputation with Carson Wentz would be anyways. None of them particularly shined with Phillip Rivers. It's been very woeful for T.Y. Hilton without Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
And then the passing game and to the running backs, it's hard to say. So I don't think fantasy situations change this much for the surrounding cast of the Colts. We'll see who they fill in and if it might help out Jonathan Taylor. But for the most part, everyone's value kind of stays the same.
I just wanted to get my hopes up because there's so many people coming in. Well, there's a decent number of players coming out of retirement, Figure Andrew Luck or Phillip Rivers was in the market if they wanted to be. Or if that
And also, quick comment on the Texans. I just found out who their quarterback is. Do you guys know?
And their backup quarterback behind Deshaun Watson.
Well, technically, but I guess he'd be
Their starting
now.
quarterback technically now. Who is it? Just go ahead.
I have a feeling I know who it is.
Tyrod Taylor.
Ah, yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's not that bad.
It'll be all right.
Former Charger.
As long as he doesn't get stabbed in the lung.
Yeah, as long as the doctor can do his job, then he
That was
should be
Herbert's.
alright.
That was Herbert's doctor, by the way, that did that.
Yo, low key.
Anyway,
That's funny.
So next.
they could always trade for Aaron Rodgers. That's the guy who we're talking about next.
Oh gosh. If only
I like
he
the
was so
transition.
unhappy. If only he was so unhappy with his organization that they would trade him away.
I think
That would fix all the problems for the Colts.
Hey, Dougie, did you happen to see that interview of? I sent it to you, Jolin. He stopped himself in the press
he
conference
did.
of saying,
I heard it.
"I love this I love my teammates. I love my
he
fans."
Stopped organizations. All right.
Stops. He's talking about all his love, and he's like, he stopped himself from saying organization.
My whole take
It's
on.
like
Go ahead.
sorry.
Dougie. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say that's like I was going to say I love my family. I love my siblings, like
Well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really
Fuck you,
like
parents.
He doesn't really like his family, actually.
oh dude, come on, we're not gonna do personal life. Come
Yeah.
on. The guy he's a human.
Yeah. He got a golf cart Aston Martin from Bakhtiari. I thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty dope.
Oh,
It
this
was like
dude-
leather seats and shit. I don't know if you guys saw that. No,
Aaron
no.
Rodgers-
You sent me
Yeah,
the
okay.
picture actually of it, and you said
You just hating. You just hating.
What did you say he looked like? No, but no, like the guy doesn't look like
hold
he
up. Is
owns
this
the
the
Aston
picture?
Martin.
I was gonna say, isn't this a picture where he looks like bum Nicolas Cage?
A little bit. Yeah, that
Like,
that
I mean,
was the picture,
guy's-
but
he's looking pretty rough. I mean, I don't want to have to like give any fashion tips around here or nothing, but I mean, guy's a professional quarterback making a hell of a lot more than I am. Like, you could do something about it, man. Just a little, shave that neck and trim the hair a little bit, dude. Get some of that Just for Men, touch of gray maybe. But
I am gonna
shit,
say
dude.
he did have a
looking
stressful
rough.
off week or off season.
Well, what's funny is like kind of looking at that. If you look at the first picture from the off season when he's in the back of that truck with a case of beer after they lost the NFC Championship game. And if you just fast forward to that picture right there of him like giving that golf cart away, like looking all bum and shit there too. I mean, that kind of sums up his summer right there, doesn't it? Like the guy looks doesn't look so good. He's kind of in a rut right now. Wouldn't you say Aaron Rodgers in a rut?
We'll see how he plays.
He did mention in
that'll tell you everything.
He mentioned to the media that if he's showing up to training camp, he's 100% all in, and you know that's cool, I guess.
I think Aaron Rodgers likes to play is it a storyline that he's playing? He's playing something, right? That's what it comes down to. He's trying to be a character. He's trying to be a role. I can't take him seriously right now. I can't really think that he's doing all this, but really is going into training camp thinking it's just about football. Like, there's something in the back of this guy's mind that kind of makes him think that the spotlight has to be on him and the attention has to be there for him, and it's kind of getting annoying.
He's like a Kardashian, low key.
Yeah, that's a good.
Diva,
that's good. Mm-hmm.
Now
it's like, bro, when. Okay, I don't know if it's his blame or not, but draft night is when he started all the drama. Like
he didn't technically start it, but that was just happened to be draft night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, this stuff is happening when I feel like these are things that happen in every organization, but every organization it just kind of stays under wraps, and it's maybe because it's Aaron Rodgers, he's MVP, multiple time MVP, Super Bowl winner. There's a reputation behind him that kind of comes with it. And yeah, the reputation also of losing 4 NFC Championship games recently, it doesn't feel good and it doesn't look good on his reputation. And I feel like it's almost like passing the buck. Like we blame the organization, not me, which I understand. I get it. I just don't understand what's going through his head. There really is like this like psyche I want to try to evaluate with Aaron Rodgers and understand why he thinks the way he does. It's very odd. I really wish he would just, kind of be a little more humble. And yeah, I mean, work on your contract. Get you what you need. Get your money. Get your players in around you. Do the best with that. But I mean, the diva part is right. It's the mind games that he's trying to play like it's an ex-girlfriend with the Packers. Or current girlfriend. Might be soon to be ex-girlfriend. We're not sure.
They're getting a divorce right now.
It's complicated on Facebook.
My whole thing on Aaron Rodgers, and I think for him to just spill it out like all that he did to the media, to say what he had to say and feel throughout the entire process, from the end of the NFC Championship all the way till now. That's a long time. That's the start of Triple FP, fellas.
Yeah, he's been doing this again. Isn't that kind of like the chronicles of a teenage high school girl on Twitter or on Facebook, just spewing all their emotions on their page and all these posts, and you could go back in a timeline and review it and kind of see how it progressed. Yeah, kind of what Rodgers is doing right now. It's actually I'm a little amazed.
It's pretty amazing because this whole thing is as old as Triple FP, believe it or not. But anyway,
now I'm not even interested in the football part of it. I really am well, what if we could get like entertainment television to come and start a show with Aaron Rodgers that has nothing to do with football really, but it's like just about like the Aaron Rodgers life. And like what he does day to day. I mean, there will be like clips of him in the locker room and at practice and on the field, but they're like the filler, when you cut in between scenes, that's just the filler. We really don't care about the football part.
It almost feels like that, but going back,
because that's the thing. There's nothing to talk about when it actually comes to football with Aaron Rodgers. No. This is all the drama. Like we're not talking about. Yeah, he's a great quarterback. That's it. End of story.
Best thrower of the football that I've ever seen in my time.
Lies.
It's true. I believe it.
You never watched John Unitas play, boy.
I've seen the GOAT play pass with the other GOAT, and I've been able to watch since I'm the film guy, right? I've been they were at a golf course, obviously, but the one GOAT threw the ball to the other GOAT, and one of the GOATs threw the better pass, and that was Aaron Rodgers.
Dude, I'm sorry. When you say one GOAT threw the ball to the other GOAT, it sounds like you're starting like a Mother Goose nursery rhyme.
But no, like Rodgers and Brady were playing pass, and just comparing, watching film. Since I'm the film guy, right? Who threw the better
Oh,
pass?
is that what you see when you say from one goat to the other goat? I was legitimately thinking, when did Tom Brady play catch with Joe Montana?
Oh, don't do that, Dougie. Anyways,
Damn.
don't right there. Stay right there. But anyway, staying on this Aaron Rodgers story, with him
Okay.
spilling all the guts and everything about just how he feels like till now, ever since the NFC Championship game,
Yeah.
I feel like what does he have to gain besides like lighting up the front office and the staff and the coach, the GM? What does he have to gain for that? And the only thing that I see reasonable that he got his way right now, I need to see more, but is Randall Cobb at an old Randall Cobb. Like, I know you got chemistry with the guy and everything, and the guy does get injury prone and everything, but, like, you got, like, you're not getting a fresh Randall Cobb. You're getting an old Randall Cobb, and you're paying him a lot of money for Randall Cobb, this Randall Cobb.
Yeah, I mean, this is your toy that you gave to your friend and let him have it for a year or two. But then you're like, oh, dude, man, you remember playing with that thing? Oh, dude, fuck yeah, let's get that shit back. And then you go and you trade him. I mean, it wasn't really a trade. They just they signed Cobb.
Yeah.
But again, that's even worse. 'Cause that means your friend threw that toy away and you had to go dig it out of his trash. Damn, dude.
That's pretty deep, but it's true. I need to see more. Like he mentioned and named a lot of players throughout the past that didn't get treat right from the Packers organization, that they didn't feel left rightfully. And that goes all the way till maybe Jordy Nelson, and those two were just lighting it up way back when, once upon a time.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, it's not his organization though. Like, dude, come on. Like, I understand you're the star quarterback, but when you retire, the Packers will still be the Packers. And there's that team's not leaving Lambeau. That's not leaving Green Bay.
No.
That's history there, baby. Like, dude, you think it sucks right now. At least you're a good quarterback, dude. Like, does anyone remember how bad they were before Brett Favre?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't, because that was before I was born. Dude, I mean, Packers sucked in the 80s and the 70s, man.
Yeah.
They were down on their luck.
They were great
So,
at start, and then they had that drought until literally like 20 years ago now.
I mean, if you consider the fact that, besides they don't have the extra 4 Super Bowls, Packers fans have been just as spoiled as Patriots fans when it comes to their quarterback play,
Yeah.
at least. Those years of Brett Favre win a Super Bowl, then transition into Rodgers, win a Super Bowl, and he's still around and he's still going to NFC Championship games and you still have a chance. Like, dude, it's okay.
Anything you want to add on this Aaron Rodgers thing, Heinzman?
Nah, y'all basically covered it. I'm ready to talk fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will take positively, well, I wouldn't even say positively, the one thing that I personally like, in my opinion, what he said during his media coverage, is that the fact that, it's true. He mentioned all these players and, some of the players coming and going, obviously, and then the one thing he did mention that I saw, that I took, as a positive for me was, these players are playing in, it's like basically a setting to where, Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's not the best, hot Miami, Tampa Bay, like that, hot. It's really like a depressing, cold, Lambeau Field's cold. It's like, what do you do there? It's a small town as well. It's
Yeah,
not
they
very.
all get seasonal homes for the football season, and then they go to beautiful, nice, warm places for the rest of the year.
It's definitely not a vacation destination. That's why I feel like players come and go when it's the Packers. And he really had mentioned that in his media coverage, and I feel like that's true of what he said. Like, people that go there, it's either really not coming for the setting, but to really just play with Aaron Rodgers. And it's kind of like Brady in a way, but obviously he went to hot weather, nice vacation setting, unlike boring old small town Wisconsin, Green Bay. So I kind of took that. That I feel that was very true, because
nobody's going to Green Bay though. They aren't signing. No one's going there to play with him. What stars do they have other than Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Jones?
Devontae Adams. Like,
Other than him.
oh,
Nah. Yeah, they
but no, you're
drafted
right.
these guys.
Yeah, they drafted these
They
guys.
drafted these guys.
But
You know
no
what?
one
That's what I'm
kinda-
saying.
Yeah.
No, they don't bring in stars from outside.
It's like, oh, I want to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they just. What's Devontae Adams? Is he on his second contract or is he still on his rookie contract?
No, he's on his
'Cause I know
last.
Aaron.
He was supposed to re-sign, but they're
He's on his
not
last
giving him.
year.
I don't think they're. They're trying to work
Okay.
out a big
So,
contract,
yeah,
but they're not.
That's
It's not
what
happening.
that's what I'm trying to say is Aaron Jones just re-signed his 2-year deal at least,
Yes.
so at least he's willing to stick around. Devontae Adams, we'll see. I'm sure he'll stick around too as long as Aaron Rodgers is there. But yeah, big, Julio Jones, goes to Tennessee, doesn't go to Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay had the cap space for him like Tennessee did, of course, but still, it's people throw these questions out there that why doesn't anyone want to go there and play? And you make a good point. It kind of
He
sucks
made a
in
good
Green
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, do you really want to play $10 million for Randall Cobb after spilling all that? Is
Nah, I
Randall
don't-
Cobb? Say you're playing Madden. Would you pay Randall Cobb $10 million or more?
I don't know. Is Randall Cobb going to be your sleeper for the year?
Probably
Ooh.
not, guys. Okay, if Randall Cobb was like Emmanuel Sanders, and who's the other guy?
I don't know. You just whiffed on that transition I gave you, though.
No. There's another veteran receiver out there. Not Mohamed Sanu, but there's another veteran.
Marvin Jones.
Well, he's with the Jaguars, right?
I don't
I
know
think
who.
he is. He is.
What are you trying to talk about?
I'm just saying, like, if Randall Cobb was at the caliber of Emmanuel Sanders or another veteran wide receiver, wideout, then probably, yeah. I think he would definitely be worth paid $10 million. But also, you talked about, cap space and all. Like, who else would they try to bring in besides that? Because obviously, you don't want them to be in cap hell if they're trying to win championships every year.
Do you think they made an offer to Juju or T.Y. Hilton?
I don't think so.
Ah.
Now you're making me think. Who's this veteran wide receiver that's also really good, like Emmanuel Sanders? I know there's a number of them, but anyway, I don't think Randall Cobb is worth that much for him to come back there and play with Aaron Rodgers. Whether you have that chemistry or not, some time has passed and things aren't always the same. That's a new coach as well, so we'll see how it plays out. I think you guys are ready for the sleeper fantasy. Are you guys falling asleep?
Dude, so long.
Do you want to start
Little
off? So we're gonna do a little something here called sleeper fantasy picks, and we're gonna go from the list of quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, and tight ends. And we all have one in mind to choose that are not top 5 at least, that are great for
that
say
are not
bench
top
or
5.
flex.
No. It's if we're doing
Wait.
sleepers, we have to go by the actual definition of a sleeper, guys. A sleeper,
He's
by
gonna look it up.
definition, if you want me to, I was just going to go off the top of my head and say a sleeper is somebody that goes undrafted or goes late round drafts or late round in your draft to pretty much win your fantasy team. This isn't somebody that you just pick up and they're on your bench all season long, just sitting there. And this also isn't somebody that you pick up and it's obvious you're going to need to start them at some point. This is the guy that you are going to pick because you have that gut feeling that this is the guy. So if I'm going to Google it real quick, fantasy football sleeper definition, maybe.
No, you got it about right. We got to get 2 of each position.
No, you
correct?
don't have
So-
to. That's only if. Yeah, I mean you can talk about it if you want.
Yes,
No, I
so
got-
sleepers are fantasy football players who a particular site or expert believes are going to produce better than fantasy results than players with similar average draft positions, ADP. These players are typically called sleepers, undervalued players, and even breakout candidates. So I guess you can say that this is somebody that could be mid-round as well and might perform and jump into the top 5. I'm going deep, though, with this one. Because
Okay.
just to me, a sleeper is that guy that just absolutely nobody thought about. To me, the undervalued players, your mid-round player, like a David Montgomery, who turns on the Jets later in the season and ends up kind of being a league winner. Those are your undervalued players, or they are beat the value of their ADP. The sleepers I'm looking for are really deep. But actually that might help us out because we might not have any duplicates here, because if I'm going at the bottom of the list and you guys are a little higher up,
That's good.
it works out.
Yeah, see, for me, it's just anyone after top 5, I think. And I'm going mid-tier, but still.
To me, it depends on the position. Like quarterback, I'd say, you're 10 to 20, 12 to 20. That's kind of what you're looking for a sleeper. Wide receivers and running backs beyond the top 20, top 24, because every team has 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs for the most part. And then your tight ends, I'd say outside of the top 10, because tight ends are so dang hard. They are so hard to predict, so we'll get into it and let you know what we think about each one.
Now, do you want to go ahead and spill some of your sleeper tips, or do you want to go through the list and then go through them after?
A quick sleeper tip is I always like to target somebody who has potential to be a starter. They might not be the starter right away, or it's kind of you're not sure, but it's like it's probably going to be them, right? So I just kind of think about that. I look at somebody. Again, it goes to that gut feeling. You got to look at it. Not just the stats and analytics, because I'm not a stats and analytics guy. I'm really not. As much as I love fantasy football and I do look at it, I like to look at opponents' stats and analytics and how it matches up more than just how somebody has performed in the past. I'll get into that a little bit here. But when you're looking for a sleeper at the end of a draft, like I said, we're going to give you some examples right here. You're going to be looking for somebody who nobody else is really thinking too hard on, so you could pass up on them for several rounds and know they will still be there and get them at a value. I did this with Austin Eckler a couple years ago when Melvin Gordon held out, and I got him in the 11th, 13th round in some drafts because people were just holding out hope that Melvin Gordon would come back, and I knew that Austin Eckler would drop in some of my leagues, and I was able to hold out, and I was able to get him at a huge value. I'd say that was kind of a sleeper. So let's get into it. Anyone want to volunteer to go first?
Let's have
Heinzman.
Let's do you,
dude.
Heinzman.
I have not heard his beautiful voice enough today.
I think he's getting sleepy
been going hard in the paint.
we're talking about
y'all
sleepers.
been going hard in the paint. I'm looking at a quarterback right now. Actually,
Yes.
Okay.
My sleeper quarterback is Daniel Jones.
What?
Yeah,
that actually surprised me. Okay, I
my-
want to hear your argument.
And because they got Saquon Barkley back, so he's obviously Saquon Barkley in itself is already a problem.
Okay.
They got Kenny Galladay as well. The wide receiver from the Lions. I think he's a dog, and they call him Danny Dimes. He throws dimes. Sterling Shepard. They also have. They got Evan Ingram at tight end. So their offense is stacked with weapons.
Yeah,
I don't know
you got
how
a good point.
I don't know how great their offensive line is, but
Trash.
yeah, but I mean they still have so many options around them, and they got some tough defenses in their division, but I think Daniel Jones, he still can put up numbers week in and week out.
It's still an incredibly weak division. I mean, the Eagles have an all right defense. They got better towards the end of the year.
The
And
Washington
of
football
course, the
team's
Washington
defense is the
football
one
team
that
has Chase. Yeah. As for the most part, I mean, there's a reason why that division was so bad last year. Yeah, they got some good defensive players on those teams, but overall, those teams just kind of, you don't have to do too much to beat them. Let's see how the Cowboys do. The Cowboys had that atrocious defense, though. So even with Dak returning, who knows if their offense will be so high-powered you can't catch up with them.
Exactly. So I mean, in that defense though too is they'll be throwing a lot, so that's looks good for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, true. If that defense isn't so well for the New York Giants, Daniel Jones will be throwing the ball more. And I like your point about Kenny Galladay being in there and Saquon Barkley coming back and him just having the weapons around him. Sterling Shepard. I forgot the other receiver's name that would pop up every now and then in fantasy last year. But yeah, it's actually a little surprising. But again, that's the point of this. I was surprised by that. Therefore, I find that actually a pretty good sleeper because you know what? I never would have chosen him. I never would have picked that motherfucker.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I had him in mind actually, so I might have to actually choose someone else. I've been actually,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I had
Nice.
Daniel Jones, but yeah, I'm gonna have to
Right off the
improvise
bat.
off my head. But no, like Daniel Jones to me, like okay, he had
Yeah,
that
give us some
big escape the pocket run. I think this time he doesn't trip and fall. I think he actually makes it to the end zone. So yeah,
right,
definitely a
because he's
great
actually
sleeper.
kind of a mobile court. He does pick up rushing yards, and
Yeah.
for a quarterback, this is huge for a quarterback in fantasy. Rushing yards pick you up so many more points for your quarterback. If they could just rush 50 yards a game, imagine
Mhm.
that's 5 more points that you get tacked on to your quarterback. How many games have you played where you've lost by less than 5 points? I mean, yeah, a quarterback some rushing upside is definitely huge.
I like it.
I didn't want to
So,
release it
Jolin.
though, because that's my sleeper in real life. Like I might try to pick him up.
Oh
It's
yeah.
okay.
But
I'm still
shit,
not taking. No, I still think he's trash. I'm not taking him. Don't worry.
that's fun.
Uh,
Uh,
Joe, did you
you,
have another
You
backup?
wait, no, he's gonna go running. Oh no.
I can go running
Yeah,
back
he's going
next.
running back. He's gonna finish his list before I go.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to go each position. I thought we
Yeah,
were each going to
go
take a
ahead and finish it
position.
off.
Well, which one makes more sense? I kind of feel like the positions might make more sense.
Yeah, I was going to say I think we should just take turns
Stay
Yeah,
in the
and
going
let's
one
get
at a time
quarterbacks
with
out the way.
positions.
Yeah, get
Okay,
quarterbacks out
yeah,
the way.
all right, I'm down for
Hey
that.
guys, see, folks, we don't plan our podcast in advance, guys. Just to let you know, you are
This is all
going through this
improv.
adventure with us.
Off the
You're going
dome.
through the adventure and the exploration with us as we figure this out
This is
too.
all improv, baby.
This
Hey,
immerses
Dougie, you
you.
go next. So Jalen has time to make up his quarterback.
Oh
Okay,
no,
actually, all right.
I got
Are
one in
you ready,
mind,
Joe?
but go ahead,
Okay,
Dougie.
go, baby. No, top of the head,
Ah.
top of the
Fuck your
dome.
scissors. Fuck your scissors.
Okay, so let me just get this out of the way. I really, I really wanted to choose Jimmy Garoppolo because like if you go through just imagine going through all that doubt in your head and just all the people doubting you and like you're injury prone, a guy is right behind you to take that job. Now, I just take it to the similar situation like Jordan Love being drafted to replace you, and you go balls out and become MVP of the league. I feel like Jimmy G has definitely a lot of doubters. He is not my pick though, but I just wanted to throw out there as a Niner fan, but
Who's your pick then?
no, but just saying, like Jimmy G, like he hasn't like really been a great fantasy like pick. I mean, I've had him like obviously in the past, but my actual pick is gonna be famous Jameis Winston. This is post LASIK Jameis Winston. I'm sorry, and like you don't know, this is a former first rounder, right, guys?
You know what? I don't hate this just because again we assume it's going to be Taysom Hill starting.
No, it's not.
But
It's Jameis Winston.
yeah, but Jameis Winston, former first overall pick, not just a first rounder, first in the draft in
Exactly.
the 2000 what was that? 2016, 15?
Now, my argument for Jameis Winston is that okay, so the guy got LASIK surgery. We kind of really didn't see him like play after like the whole Tampa Bay.
Oh baby, that flea flicker.
And
That one play in the playoffs.
one play in the playoff.
That's
He
a
was
preview,
so
that's a
accurate. That
preview.
was a nice throw.
That was a dime, dropping the bucket, baby.
He threw a touchdown pass. Drew Brees didn't really,
Did Drew Brees even throw a touchdown pass in that game?
Did in that
I don't
game.
think he did.
Yo, Jameis was like that in that game. He
That was
like
the only
that one,
touchdown in
that
the
one
game.
white boy on the basketball team that just comes in to hit a clutch three and gets back out the bench. That was Jameis.
Everyone fucking loses their shit, but then like no one
'cause
actually
he hits
cares
the
to like let him
three.
play.
Now,
Exactly.
now my argument, Jameis Winston, great backup quarterback for your fantasy pick, sitting on the bench, and I think like with all the weapons throughout the New Orleans Saints, this is such a great pick and just such a sleeper throughout the whole season. I know he's gonna get like they'll do that Taysom Hill plays and everything, but no, I think Jameis Winston, now that he could see his players without safety vests, he is definitely gonna be accurate, and we're gonna see the Jameis Winston that is Heisman.
And Jameis Winston can never see.
Well, this is post LASIK surgery, so he
Exactly, he could never see himself clearly, and now
Is he
can.
finna eat a W? Is he about to eat a W?
This is gonna be 50 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I'm sorry.
50 touchdowns?
Yo, 50 interceptions, I would have believed still.
Well, didn't he throw like 50
Yo.
interceptions and 50
Dude, he
touchdowns?
had the most interceptions. He had what was it? He had like the
His
only
touchdown
quarterback
to
to throw.
interception ratio
He
was 1-1.
It was like, yeah, he was the only quarterback in NFL history to not only throw more than like not like what was it? Was it the most interceptions in a season, maybe? But either
Yes.
way, he
The
was the
most
only
touchdowns
quarterback
in
to
it.
throw more than 30 interceptions and more than 30 touchdowns in the same
Yeah.
season.
Who could break that stat? Jameis Winston,
And
great sleeper
you know
pick.
what? You know how good Jameis Winston is? It took Tom Brady to replace him. It took the greatest quarterback of all time to replace him in Tampa. That's how
Exactly.
good that guy is.
Bad, exactly. See that? And he
I
had all the
like that.
weapons there. But imagine all the weapons, like actually starting. Like this is your job, Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Just imagine how many fantasy points he'll pick up. But anyway, that's my argument.
Alrighty. I like it. My turn, boys.
The best for
Yeah,
last.
bro.
I've been excited. I've been thinking about this all day. I like this dude. He's
Wait.
Um,
Yeah.
Did you have in mind any of our quarterbacks? No, you probably didn't. See,
Oh,
you
no,
go
absolutely
deep.
not.
Yeah, you go. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I went way, yeah. Because this guy,
Dark.
you wouldn't even think of it, but he is a starting quarterback in this league, for sure. I hope. I think, he should be. It's a man with a big, beautiful beard.
Oh boy.
He's full of magic.
It's
It
magic.
is.
I was
it's
eyeing him
magic.
too.
Because this guy is going to be the starting quarterback in Washington. He's going to have some guys like Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. He's going to have a running back like Antonio Gibson. He's going to have a pretty solid offense around him.
That's
Good
true.
defense on the other side. And just real quick, let me give you some stats. Last year, let's ignore his first game against New England. Still trying to figure it out that week. But from there, the next few weeks, 24 points, 24 points. 21 points, 27 points, then a little drop off to 16 points until he eventually got benched for Tua. But even then, remember when he came back they had him play against the Jets? They benched Tua. Did they bench Tua against the Jets?
That was the
Who
Raiders
cares?
game.
I know the Raiders game. Well, he scored 19 points against the Jets later down the road. And then, yes, against the Raiders, on just like the fourth quarter, he was able to score 12 points almost, 11.28. So, yeah, this guy can put up fantasy points. It's crazy. Because this dude sat on the waivers all season long when he was doing well. Those 20-point games I was wrapping off, he was on the waiver wire every single week for us in our leagues, guys. Nobody was picking him up. I think I picked him up 1 week, maybe, just to see how it worked out, and it wasn't too bad. He got me 20-something points. It is a good option, especially if you're streaming quarterbacks. If you ignore your top 10, if you're streaming your quarterbacks and you ignore those top 10 guys and you get down into the little depths, you waited to the late rounds to pick it, it's okay to pick a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick and just let it see what happens, let it stream. If you have to move on from him, you won't feel bad because you didn't spend a high value pick on him. That's a great sleeper right there if it works out for you.
I like it. Yeah, I totally agree. Fitzmagic all the way.
It's magic.
I've actually done this before, like actually like traded or like pick him up Fitzmagic, and then just for him to get benched by a starting quarterback. It's happened. Like he would like go off like the week before, and I would choose him like for the next week, and then he would like get benched.
Oh yeah.
Or like just play like complete trash. It's happened.
Yeah, me too. I've been in those situations before, but it's still the fact that the consistency he had when he was actually a full-time starter, and it's just too bad they benched him when he was starting to hit his stride. There's so much potential there for him this season. It was almost a no-brainer for me.
All right. I think for running backs, I'd like to choose two. It's such an open market. What do you guys think?
I'm okay with my one. I do have a backup just in case, but I'll give him a shout out. But I'll let you guys go first.
All right, Heinzman.
I got
Running
one.
back.
I got one for it now.
Okay.
The one that I've been kind of looking at, he'll be a sleeper to some, maybe not to everybody. Depends on what team you usually watch. Javonte Williams, though, from the Denver Broncos.
Oh.
He's a rookie. They just drafted him. They got him at a really good deal. I think they got him in the second round. But he's behind Melvin Gordon right now. Melvin Gordon is not really that consistent, kind of injury prone. I can see Williams outworking him and potentially taking that starting spot. It won't be immediately, obviously, because Melvin Gordon's going to kind of have to tumble down if he does. But still, even with that, I feel like they could still split reps at first, and then he'll eventually take over the reps. But I think he's a solid sleeper. If, like I said, if you don't really pay attention to him like that.
Yeah, I like that. Anyone that has potential to be a starter, I know they kind of have a muddled backfield in Denver. Other places like Houston as well kind of have middle backfields where you're not sure who the starter is going to be. So if there's a guy, especially a young guy like Javonte Williams, who was high draft pick, second round, that's a guy you could start. I mean, in the sense that that's a guy that Denver could start. Not sure if you want to start him in fantasy right off the bat, but again, if you draft him, if you use your last pick on him or one of your last few picks, pick him up and just see what happens. I don't. I've seen him go kind of high in some spots in fantasy.
Yeah.
10th round, maybe 11th. I'm a little iffy about that for someone you don't know is going to be a starter or not. But for sleeper picks, you're right. Yeah, that's all that matters. It's you're taking a chance. This is a guy that you might be okay with dropping, but if they hit, then you're just that much happier with it.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Did you mention already that Melvin Gordon, could potentially, injury prone? Did you say that already or no?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you would know that firsthand, right?
Yeah, of course, man. I've watched it for years.
I mean, I don't try to take injuries into consideration. I just know Melvin Gordon's still a good running back, and he has potential to still be the starter. But if he does get hurt, again, you never know.
1 and 2, yeah.
Especially with running backs, because there's only 32 starting running backs, and it's not like the quarterbacks where they have to get the ball and be productive. But even then, if you're starting running back, it doesn't mean that you're going to see the ball all game. There's committees, and there's guys that split reps. There's you fall behind in the game, and you have to pass the ball, and you get your carries taken away from you. And then the scat back comes in like Nyheim Hines, and he takes away targets with his receptions. There's a lot of variables, so it's kind of hard to predict those running backs. Usually you get about 20, I'd say. You get your top 10, and then the next 10, your running back twos are your decent ones. And then from there, you're really picking and choosing and just hoping that something sticks. I hope Joe has a good one that I don't have. I'm really hoping to talk about my guy. So, Joe, I want to hear what you got.
That was a quick look at Dougie's sleeper tips. Please take note, our audience. My pick, man, I want to go with 2 picks just for fun. I really like Mike Davis.
Okay, cool.
Atlanta. I think he's a good, like, if you're trying to say like red zone and they're right there, Mike Davis is a great back to definitely get touchdown points. And I'm not sure if is he the starter? No, Caffrey, right?
No, he's in Atlanta.
No, Mike Davis.
Atlanta.
He was in Carolina last year.
Yeah, but
he took over when CMC was out. But he will be the starter.
He will be the starter in Atlanta. Yeah. So I think that's great because Mike Davis definitely very stout in the red zone. Still, I think he has a lot to prove in the tank. And then my second pick, just for fun, I think just behind Raheem Mostert, because Raheem Mostert's a dog. I like Trey Sermon going into this, just as number 2. Great flex, great, backup running back. And this goes back to how many reps they'll split, but at the same time, I think going back to because I like Nyheim Hines and what you had mentioned and what you said earlier, just a great back to catch and run. Definitely points per reception PPR. So yeah, those are my quick 2 running backs that I really like for sleepers or just late round picks.
I really like Trey Sermon, and that you mentioned him. He was one that was on my mind, not my pick, but definitely on my mind. It's someone that I think by mid-season he has a good shot of taking over the starting role from Raheem Mostert, even if he is healthy. Just that's how it works sometimes in San Francisco, and With the running backs that they cycle through, would not surprise me.
Can I just say that what we're doing here, what we're going, all these names that we're choosing, these are pretty like decent guys midway down the depth, and good job, guys.
Oh, well, if you want to really get into depth here, here's a guy that definitely won't be starting and might not even have a good season.
Oh
But you
shoot!
know what? This is sleeper. This is sleeper territory, baby. Because like I said, I didn't want to go top 20. I don't know how far I went down, actually. I went pretty.
Like Mariana
I went
Trench down. That
top 30 still. But he's definitely, if you're playing a 10 team a 10 team league in redraft, he's definitely your spot, your bench running back. He's you're hoping it hits and it works out. This is AJ Dillon, guys. This is AJ Dillon for the Green Bay Packers, backing up Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones signed his new 2-year
like
deal.
that.
He's going to be there. He's definitely going to be the starter. He, proved himself the last couple of years that he's the guy. But I don't like to take injuries into consideration. But what I will take in consideration is that AJ Dillon did have some game time with Jamal Williams there. Jamal Williams out now. He's in Detroit. AJ Dillon moves into that position. Jamal Williams was kind of their targets and reception guy. AJ Dillon, if he can move into that, I'm not sure how his catching skills are. Let's look at his receiving. I got his stats pulled up right here real quick. But if his targets that Jamal Williams were getting, if that share comes to AJ Dillon, I'm hoping that proves in PPR. But along with that, the game that Aaron Jones missed, where AJ Dillon was able to fill in, real quick, his average yards per carry right now is 5.3 yards. The one game where he really shined, he had 21 attempts. This was against Tennessee. He had 21 attempts for 124 yards, averaging 5.9, 2 touchdowns for, I forgot what the points were. I could figure it out real quick. It was 12 points plus the 2 touchdown, 24 points. Plus he had 1 reception on 1 target for 5 yards. So yeah, he had 25, 26 points one game. Small sample size. But again, Aaron Jones is out. If Aaron Jones goes down like he did last year with some, injury capabilities, who knows? Your best ability is availability. So if AJ Dillon's able to sneak into that role, that'd be nice. You're taking this guy with like your last pick, though. That's what I mean when you're taking this guy as your sleeper. You are waiting until like round 15, 16. You might choose your defense and your kicker first, or you might be picking him before you go kicker to defense. It's up to you, but he's definitely one of the last position players I'm taking off the board.
I like that. Wow.
AJ Dillon?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a beast running back, by the way. That's a monster.
Huge thighs, dude. Fucking monster quads. Another running back I wanted to mention, but he really wasn't my pick, was David Johnson. I think good potential to start in Houston as the running back there. The guy that, he's done it before. He's older now. I don't think he could ever repeat his 2016, 2015 season.
Cardinals?
When he was yeah.
He's a good, not a workhorse. He gets the targets. He gets the work in. He can be consistent.
Yep.
He can be. But I mean, as for sleeper, I think he might be a little past his time for sleeper.
I like that. You're giving the the old veteran some love. I had him just like a thought, like throughout my list.
Yeah,
and
exactly. You have to think about David Johnson.
Absolutely. Now, giving the veteran some love. I like it.
I mean, you'll never forget that amazing season he had. He was a league winner that year.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl. All right. So that was running backs. I think we're halfway through this list. That's awesome. Wide receivers. Heinzman, you got a few in mind or just one?
I have just one right now. I can get a couple though. I'm just not sure how deep I'm gonna go, but we'll kind of just play it by ear. So the first one that I got is Darnell Mooney on the Bears. Did you have him?
No, I didn't actually, but I like that.
I
really like that.
Nah, I don't.
Yeah. I used to just watch the Bears film, and his route running is really slept on. He just never had the quarterback to actually get him the ball. He was always open, but the throws were always off. So his stats were never really there. But I mean, hopefully with the Bears upgrading their quarterback position, gives him the opportunity to make these catches that he's wide open on most of the time because he's a crisp route runner. Like I think that's slept on with him. He just rarely got catchable ball. So that's one sleeper that I think. And then another one that I got was where is he at? Alan Lazard on the
Okay.
Packers.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he stepped up big when
Both of y'all pick
Devontae Adams
Packers.
was injured. Yeah. Um, he stepped up big though when they were all injured. I think it was the game against the Saints
Yeah.
when he had some very big plays and he's building that rapport with Aaron Rodgers. So I feel like he has potential to be wide receiver 2, possibly, maybe wide receiver 3. But I think he could be a sleeper that could pop off.
I like that.
And not too bad. Yeah, I could dig it. He was definitely a guy that came across my mind too. I'd be okay with taking him again late round. You kind of already filled in your starters. You just need somebody that might
Depth. Yeah.
make it or break it.
Build depth. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Darnell Mooney. He is far down there in the depth, kind of.
Oh, their number one is clearly Allen Robinson, but you never
Mhm.
know who their number 2 is, and if they turn
Exactly.
into a team that could get the going, yeah, every team has 2 receivers at least that could share, and still produce. And when you get 3 receivers like the Steelers got, then it gets muddled, and you're really like wondering whose ball is it this week.
Yep.
But as long as you got 2 receivers, you're solid.
Yeah. Yeah, so my two, like this like the wide receivers is like such a big, like, there's so much that you could choose from, just like the running
Yeah.
backs. And
Options.
my options were like it went from like players coming in as well that could potentially be sleepers, like from the draft. I kind of thought about that, but then again, I didn't really watch those guys' films, but I know that they have potential because obviously they're, high round draft picks, or and everything like that, and them respectively going to their, I guess, their quarterbacks that they played with in college. So, but my list, I'm gonna start with let's see here. I think Jerry Judy's a really good one. I know not so much of their quarterback play, but he's really one of their top receivers out there, and I think Jerry Judy really has that potential to just rack up a lot of points late round. He's pretty far down there in the depth, but I think he has potential to be like a really good wide receiver. Just this season, regardless who throws, because obviously the Broncos really don't have a tight. See, like, imagine if Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm guessing, but no, like Jerry Judy I think is a great sleeper. And then my other one is I like Trevor Lawrence throwing to this guy, Laviska Shenault Jr. I like this kid.
Okay.
I think he's potentially going to be a sleeper. This is a guy no one knew about. And going through my list, I didn't know who this kid was either, but I guess he was drafted last year. And he didn't really, Minshew didn't really play much. I wouldn't say good, but like just, I think Trevor Lawrence would coming into the Jags and just spreading the ball out. And potential sleepers, Laviska Shenault Jr., I think, wide receiver for the Jags.
I like
Dude,
that.
I love
'Cause,
both those picks.
yeah, Chenault definitely has the potential to be starter in Jacksonville.
Like,
I know they still got DJ Chark down there too, and it's a little muddled, but DJ Chark's not a clear number 1. He's all right, but he's not the guy. So without that consistency, Laviska Shenault with new quarterback coming in, a guy like Trevor Lawrence, you're right. All it takes is that click, and then they got it, and he's off to number 1 and might be winning your fantasy football league.
and I think, I swear Marvin Jones is a Jaguar.
I think so too. I think you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Who was your first receiver again
Jerry
before
Judy.
Laviska?
Jerry Judy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Jerry Judy, I
Cortland
wanted to
Sutton.
avoid him just because they got no quarterback. Like,
Yes, I feel like with better quarterback play, I'd feel a little bit better. My take on it too is also with Cortland Sutton out last year. I feel like Jerry Judy was almost like pressured to be the number 1 receiver there,
Sutton
and
good,
when
though.
it wasn't, Sutton's great, and if he's there and he's taking attention away from number 1 cornerbacks and clutch islands,
Judy, baby.
then Yeah, exactly. Judy might have a better chance of opening up, so it's not a bad pick. But I'm not too hot on Judy either. I like Laviska Shenault a little bit more as a sleeper. Judy,
Definitely.
I'm very weary about him. I agree with you, Heinzman.
Sweet. Yeah. Not a bad list, though, right? I like
Nah,
Laviska.
No, good. And that's the
Laviska's good.
point again, because not everyone's. That's why you like these sleepers, because everyone's going to pass on them except for you. That's the kind of guy they're supposed to be.
All right, Dougie.
I
Did you
only
have one
got
or two?
one.
Oh, you only got one? Okay.
I only got one, but I do like this guy. I did look into a little bit. I had to Google him because he actually wasn't on ESPN's top 50 rankings. He was
Dang.
number like 56 or 58. So it's Russell Gage for the Atlanta Falcons, guys.
Never heard of the guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So with Julio Jones moving on, Calvin Ridley moving up. Calvin Ridley is now Julio
Ooh.
Jones. Everyone's saying Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy that replaces Julio Jones and gets targets and can be a touchdown guy because he's big and yeah, it's cool. Great. Good for him, man. You know what I care about? A guy who's actually played in the league and has some stats I can look at real quick. So just going off of since their bye week last year, Russell Gage targets 12, 5, 8, 7, 10, 5, 10. So pretty decent target share there. And then turning it into 786 yards overall for the season. Not too bad for a rookie. 72 receptions. Only 4 touchdowns for the season, but touchdowns could have outliers. He could have a good season. Again, Julio Jones isn't there. Calvin Ridley's the guy that's stepping up. They don't have that same pressure that, because they were always trying to force Julio Jones into games, and he would be the starter, and Russell Gage is playing slot and playing third string. And if Kyle Pitts is there, Calvin Ridley's there, maybe they take the attention away from secondaries. Maybe that leaves things opened up a little in the middle. Russell Gage sneaks in there, gets a few more touchdowns. All of a sudden, boom, you got a guy that's worthy of your flex spot and can be helping you win fantasy. So right
Absolutely.
there, week to week, maybe a championship winner, depending on what his season looks like at the end. That's something we'll get into down the road too, is who's going to – I feel like that'd be a good topic of discussion one day is – who should you be looking for your fantasy playoffs for the last few weeks of the season? I think like that would be a good conversation.
Yeah,
Definitely towards the end.
I like it. Yeah, I've never heard of that guy, but no, your transition is correct. Like with Julio moving on, who's gonna be like the star number 2, number 3, and that's it right there.
Yeah, because Calvin Ridley is clearly number 1, and Calvin Ridley is great. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He was another guy last year that could have been that he was pretty much a league winner.
Yeah.
Because if you were able to get him at a value and Julio went out, you had a number 1 receiver. Besides that one game, he had 0 receptions and just put up a good old goose egg. We don't talk about that.
Tight ends. Tight end university.
Oh,
Heinz, you have one
dude.
too.
I only
only
got
got
tight
one.
runners.
Okay.
Or PR at
Who
Inside
is
joke.
your
Sorry.
sleeper tight end, Heinzman?
my sleeper tight end. Ooh, it's a big sleeper, man. Like NyQuil.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee though.
What?
Hey, I was just looking at his name too.
The Los
Oh,
Angeles
boy.
Rams.
Good pick.
And yeah, I like him a lot, man, because he's a good red zone target. Matthew Stafford throws them dimes. They're in a passing offense. I think he's gonna get some good targets, especially in the red zone. I think
he
he's
had
a sleeper.
slump year last year, but he had, what was it? 2 years ago was his rookie year, and he didn't do too bad towards the playoff run.
Exactly. And now he's got McVay's trust, which is huge. With Matthew Stafford throwing the ball, I think he has the potential for a breakout year.
I like it.
I really thought he was gonna say Kyle Pitts, but
Nah.
no, I didn't expect Higbee. That's great. You only have one, you said?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get through this list. I'll do 2 again. I think I like it. These are the 2 I thought of, and it's hard to choose. Tight end, unlike running backs from wide receivers, they get a little more like selective, and the tight end I really really like is Tim Tebow. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I like.
I was waiting for that, dude.
I like Austin Hooper for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
He like I know like he was with Atlanta and everything, and he played quite decently, but I think we got a whole different side of Austin Hooper with the Cleveland Browns. That guy is like it's crazy how much play he has in that just the offense. Whether it's blocking and catching, I think he has a little bit more to prove, and he is definitely a great sleeper tight end in my book. That's only if you say have a backup tight end in if you would like one, but obviously I think with our recipe and the way we choose, I think one tight end is good, right, Dougie?
Oh yeah, you will always have, like I said, that running back or receiver at the bottom of your bench that you could always sacrifice if you need to bench your starting tight end, like Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
you'll
yeah,
be able to you'll stream guys like Austin Hooper. Yes, you'll stream them when the time comes.
absolutely, and I think he's the perfect like player just for that kind of situation. The other player I had in mind just for fun, my second pick is let's see here. Mike Gesicki for the Miami Dolphins. I hope that wasn't anyone's pick, but I like that guy. He's an upcoming tight end, and that he's like a heart. He kind of reminds me of Kittle a little bit and Waller. I think he's potential gonna be like a great sleeper for just fantasy as well. So. And just a player in general, just coming up in the ranks of tight end. You think about tight ends, and it's definitely changing throughout the league compared to the tight ends from before. I think they're just more in numbers. Not really changing, but just more and more of them of the position is just becoming more greater compared to some of the older tight ends that were just very noticeable from 1 and 2 all the way to I think way back when we couldn't really name that much tight ends. The list was smaller, I would say. I could be wrong, but I think the list of tight ends now was just so much more like expanded.
I mean, for
who was your second
notable
pick?
tight ends.
My second pick was Mike Gesicki.
Okay, for
Yes.
Miami. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, tight ends, notable names in tight ends. I mean, you got the superstars now. You know, you got Travis Kelce,
Absolutely.
clearly. Gronk, for over the last decade, made a name
Mhm.
for himself. Because before, yeah, you're right. It was like Tony
Shanahan.
Gonzalez.
Or Shannon Sharp, sorry.
Antonio
Shannon
Gates.
Sharp,
All the
yeah,
way-
Antonio Gates. Shut up, man. Who the fuck asked you? So, so yeah, I agree that now the world of tight ends is starting to opening up in a little more stardom. They're more like receivers now that just happen to block on the side. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I personally, okay, so this is my thing with this guy that I really wanted to pick, but it's hard for me to really call him.
Wait, did you
He's
have one
so
or two?
far out there.
Did you have one or two?
Okay, so I got some honorable mentions.
Okay.
So
Shout out.
like, for example, I like Logan Thomas, but Logan Thomas is up there ranked at 8, so that's not particularly a sleeper. He'll be on somebody's starting roster. Then I like Irv Smith Jr. in Minnesota. He's ranked number 12 on ESPN's fantasy rankings. I like him replacing Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph's gone, so Irv Smith Jr. gets in there, but he didn't show much last year, so I don't. Again, that gut feeling. You got to go with your gut feeling on these guys. And plus, he's got to share targets with Justin Jefferson and Thielen. That's not the best either. So I go down the list a little more. All right, you guys chose Hooper and Higbee, and Gronk isn't a sleeper because it's Gronk. And then I came across Adam Trotman. And I remember this guy because he was sat behind Jared Cook, who's now in LA
Chargers,
for the Chargers. Troutman had moments, not the best. He had like a nice 41-yard reception. He had a touchdown. Averaged like 11 yards per reception. Not great, but decent. But if Jared Cook is gone, Michael Thomas is hurt, and maybe Taysom Hill is the starter, maybe Jameis Winston. Who knows? They might need to find someone they can fall back on. Tight ends tend to be your safety nets. Jameis Winston didn't do too bad with his tight ends in Tampa Bay. So, you know what? I'm kind of okay with Adam Troutman being my sleeper. He's at number 20 on the ESPN fantasy rankings for tight ends. So he's kind of like really down there, your tight end 2 area. It's kind of hard to justify that as a sleeper. But the other guy that I really wanted to say that is so far down there, I can't even call him a sleeper because he'll be just undrafted and sitting on the waivers. He might blow up one day, and if he does work out like I hope he does, it'll be awesome. Someone's going to pick him up. Anthony Firkser for Tennessee, replacing Jonnu Smith after Jonnu Smith leaves for New England.
Mm.
Anthony Firkser had 1 touchdown last year, wasn't that great? 9 point something yards per reception. But again, like they need a starting tight end there. Jonnu Smith was good last year, at least for the first half of the season. He was pretty much like a top 5 tight end. Yeah, they got Julio there now. They still have AJ Brown and Derrick Henry, but I mean, you never know. It might be a Chiefs-esque powerhouse offense where just everybody gets a slice of the pie. The guy just, I mean, he might. I don't know. I don't have a clue. What the fuck am I talking about?
You named like 9 tight ends, but I like it.
Well, I just had to go through my thought progression, guys. I had to let you know where I was standing there. My sleeper is Adam Troutman. I
So-
think he's going to be the sleeper tight end. I wanted it to be Anthony Firkser, but I really think that's like such an outlier. It's not even in like this realm of possibility. And then yeah, Irv Smith, I wanted to, but can't really. And Logan Thomas is just way too high, but I like him anyways.
I like it. Now, just to wrap up these sleeper fantasy picks. Now, you talk about quarterbacks. You talk about starting quarterback, backup quarterback, wide receiver, and running backs. You're gonna be building depth within your fantasy picks. Now, going to tight end, just your tips on it, or both of you guys, what you guys have to say. Like for tight ends, do you really need that backup tight end, or do you with sleeper picks? Because for tight ends, like you're obviously choosing the best tight end that is available. But also at the same time, when we mention these sleeper tight ends, and we definitely mention great facts about them to potentially rack up these points. But I'm just trying to say, how many people do draft backup tight ends? Is that something that is
Very
constant?
rare.
That's what I'm
I'd say.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend it.
Mhm. Not
You
at all.
basically, if you either have really great tight end
Yeah.
or you're streaming tight end.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Travis Kelce, George Kittle, like the big names, Darren Waller, you're gonna
Mhm.
draft them. You're gonna sit in your tight end slot to where you're not gonna need a bench player,
Yeah.
or you get somebody mediocre when you kind of just stream them based on matchups. You want to look at the matchups and see how the defense performs against tight ends and stuff like that. So you got to take that all into consideration. Matchup, usually I'm streaming and depends on the matchup. So I don't have a tight end in my bench. Very, very rarely, unless I see
like
him
that.
unless I see a tight end that I know is gonna be popping when if they have a really bad opponent. I look 2 weeks down the road.
Yeah. You
I'll
look for
look
the
2 weeks down the
projection.
road and look for basically 2 tight ends at a time, because I know that the tight end that I'm picking up this week is going to be shitty next week. So I already know I need to find one for next week. So let me just start looking now.
And of course, if you got a guy like Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, where you're just going to set him and forget him, you're never going to move him out of that spot. But they got a bye week you have to cover, so when it comes around, you might want to look a little bit ahead of time and get that tight end on your bench just so
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
covered.
Yeah, for our audience listening in, like, you may or may not draft a backup tight end, but the key thing to look at, as these two have mentioned, that just or check those waivers, man, and see the matchups coming up, and that potentially. And I'm so glad we did this tight end list, because that can potentially be a game changer. Say like a few points, and you have that tight end that just racks up enough points. That's what we're talking about, and I
It's a
appreciate
tough position.
it. Is
It's
yeah.
a tough position to project.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What a list, guys. That actually took more time than we did. I'm glad we got to talk about it. I think we were pretty deep in the depth there on the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was great. Any more sleeper tips, fantasy picks that you have, Dougie, or you think we kind of wrapped through them all?
I mean, I think we did good. Like I said, when you go through your draft strategy, which we'll break down later, but you're looking to fill your starters out for the first few rounds. Then your middle rounds, you're looking for, solid bench players, guys with potential, get your flex in there. You're looking for your quarterback a little bit later, say 8th, ninth, 10th round. If you don't get a tight end early, like Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, if you don't get them, I'd say draft like a Mark Andrews or Kyle Pitts by the 6th round. If you don't get any of those guys, you could wait and find a decent tight end like Dallas Goedert or Logan Thomas, or one of the sleepers we have named today. You could find a guy later down the road in the later rounds. Always save your defense and kickers for last. They are the least important positions. You could stream them just like you could stream quarterbacks and tight ends, but it's much easier. So yeah, those just those little tips. So those sleepers will fall into your usually, I'd say 11th to 16th rounds. Those last 5 picks, you're filling up a kicker, you're filling up a defense. So somewhere in those 3 picks of the last 5, you want to be going for a sleeper. You might get a backup quarterback, but look for a sleeper. Just tell yourself, find one guy you like this draft, this season, that you have a feeling might be able to be it, that might be able to be the guy that could take over a role, might get his, time to shine, whatever it is. Just put them in your notebook and put that little note off to the side and just save it for your draft day and pull it out and just look at it. And it'll say A.J. Dillon, and just remember, draft A.J. Dillon.
Yeah. My little piece of advice and tip that I wanted to add is, just as Dougie said, that one guy, build that depth within, like after, especially the late round, especially with someone like me who has kind of got some experience under his belt, but still feels like basically a noob. Yeah, build that depth. And for me, like my experience with these sleeper picks is I don't know that they're gonna be potentially a sleeper. I kind of like just choose them in my lineup and just like in my depth overall, and they potentially themselves become a sleeper. And I think for the most part, just open up oh yeah, kind of play with it and just kind of go with your gut feeling, like what Dougie had said, and you don't even have to think about if this player will become a sleeper or not, because they kind of become a sleeper, and that's the whole surprise that's the whole fun about it, is just these players that you drafted you never thought would become like a great player, especially for your lineup, and they do. I think that's the definition of sleeper. Like, you did not even think about it, and that's essentially what we're talking about as well. But like for me, it's just going on an adventure and choosing these players, and for them to outshine your expectation. I think that overall is just building.
You said
building
it very
that
well.
Yeah,
you said it very well, man. I agree with that. That when you don't even expect it, that's kind of the best part. Is when you get to the bottom of the list and you take that Marvin Jones that you didn't expect. Okay, bad example, because Marvin Jones really never had that sleeper. But the James Robinsons. There you go. Perfect example. James Robinson last year. If you picked him up late in the draft because nobody wanted to take a chance on any Jaguars players, and you got James Robinson, or if you were like me and you just happened to pick him up off the waiver wires after he had a decent week 1, those are your sleepers. Those are the kind of guys you want. Remember, there's only usually 1 or 2 good sleepers in the draft where everyone else has passed up on them, and you happen to get them. And like Joe said, those are the best ones where you don't even think about it. You just draft a guy because you kind of like him, and it happens to work out for you.
It's like an adventure, and you're kind of recruiting them into your party, and it's boom, they work out, and they're like the best player on your whole lineup, and it's great.
Yeah, just like in Final Fantasy, when you get to go through and you pick up new characters in the world, and then it's like, oh fuck yeah, I got a Dragoon now. That's what.
And they're all like leveled up, ready for you too, and like you've been
right. They're actually like a couple levels higher. They're a couple levels higher than the rest of your party.
They're stronger than your main character, and they like join you. Yeah,
they come equipped with magic that you haven't learned yet.
Yep, great transition, great example as well.
All right, now video game talk.
Yeah, Heinzman, do you have any advice or tips for our audience, or you think we kind of wrapped it up? Just your personal.
Covered it. Y'all covered it pretty well, honestly. Like, just trust your gut, man. Just have fun with it, because it could either literally be a hit or a miss. So I mean, You miss
I mean,
100% of the shots you don't take. So I mean, just trust your
I
gut,
mean,
and if
do
it
you have any
works,
personal experiences? Like, do you have any players in your personal experience that you've drafted that you have, you know, made out to be a sleeper in your eyes?
Yeah, and became just outstanding for you that you
I
could
thought
think
I
of.
did. I thought I did Kenyon Drake, but because when no, I picked him up when he went to the Cardinals. When he got traded to the Cardinals mid-season, I picked him up. In this first game, he got 4 touchdowns. I was like, "Yo, this man is about to take off," and I just got him on the waiver wire.
Hey,
So his first year with Arizona, he played pretty solid.
yep.
So what I do, I drafted him first pick, first round last year, and boy, did I regret that.
Hey, I'm gonna say it right now. I think those 4 touchdowns were against the Niners, though, right?
They were on
Yeah, they
Christmas, or
were.
no, on
It
Halloween.
was a
Halloween, I
Thursday
think it
night.
was.
It was a
Yeah,
Thursday night football, wasn't it?
yeah.
Hey, but we
I
His
beat them
first
remember.
game
though.
in,
We beat them though, maybe.
hey,
Was
he
that?
still got 4 touchdowns, and I kicked your ass that week.
Okay.
You feel me?
The competition's heating up. But yeah, no, like you no, that's unfortunate because you expect someone to do good, and
Yeah.
that's the key for like mishaps too. Like with sleepers, like you think they kind of will do good, and then they end up being that Final Fantasy
Okay,
player that
hold
you
on,
don't
hold on,
level
hold
up
on.
in your lineup.
Okay, this is where we need to make sure we get the definition of sleepers right. If somebody is undervalued and you're taking them hoping that they're going to be good based on where you're drafting them,
But
that's
they're complete
different.
shit, though. What happens then?
You're just left disappointed. To me, a sleeper is somebody it's you don't expect them
Yes.
to
Mhm.
it to be any good, and so when they aren't good, you're okay with dropping them and moving on. But when they are great, it's that much better. Yeah, that's the kind of sleeper I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had luck with that.
No.
Mm,
Nah,
yeah.
Uh, See,
Felt.
DK
I
Metcalf
guess.
last year for me was also almost a sleeper, but I feel like he definitely exceeded his value. Of course, I took him in the ninth round, and he turned out to be what a top five, top six receiver. It was amazing, But I mean, he also dropped off towards the end of the season, and his production wasn't the league winner I was hoping he would be. Even though he was still good, I didn't even play him for the playoffs because he had terrible matchups though. So, it's stuff like that, man. I wouldn't consider DK a sleeper then. So, it's very rare.
Yeah.
Usually only one or two people get that sleeper every year. You just hope it's going to be you. Maybe it's going to be you this year, Robert.
Hey, for real, my time's coming.
Okay, fellas. That was a great wrap up. Just to wrap up the podcast here, I wanted to do a little something fun to, wrap it up, finish it off here.
Yeah.
One thing you're excited for this 2021 NFL season, it could be one or two things, and I'll go ahead and start to give a great example for you guys. I said one thing you're most excited for, but I'm going to be one or two things. So, one thing I'm most excited for, and this is going to be quick,
I like how he had to announce this is a great example, guys. Fucking prepare
Yeah,
yourselves.
prepare yourselves. I'm going to start with my team, the 49ers. The one thing I'm most excited for going into this season is just that the Niners situation for the quarterbacks, of how it's not even like a competition and this is still Jimmy Garoppolo's team. I feel like the locker room is still like backing up Jimmy G pretty well, and that kind of shows the kind of culture that they have, in San Francisco, and that means a lot. Not only as like just like players, but just believing and just showing what type of character they have in that locker room. That goes a long way. And I just wanted to mention that, props to them, and because unlike that, shit show in Green Bay, but anyway, but yeah, like just a class, just having that kind of character in that locker room, and just the locker room backing up Jimmy G, and even with the new kid coming down the block, and for them to treat that situation so well, it's great. It's not toxic at all, and for me as a fan to see that builds a lot of character, and like just shows class of what they do and what kind of players they are in that locker room, and that's very positive as seeing that as a fan. I'm really excited to see how Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo turn out, but that's to come. And then the other thing I'm most excited for going into the 2021 season is 17 games. This is great. Like more
Oh,
football
good.
for us, and then yeah, I'm just gonna end it at there. Just 17 games. It's gonna be a longer season, and yeah, and just that depth chart, man. Whether it's fantasy, whether it's your NFL team, and whether it's just a fan of the NFL, just seeing that depth chart, and because it's gonna be a long season, fellas.
Yeah, I like that, man. That was really good. Heinzman, you got anything you got one or two?
Yeah,
Or
I got a
one,
couple.
or one.
I mean, yeah, whatever works. But I mean, I guess really the main thing I'm ready for is to go to games in person, and I guess
Ah, I
just
should have said
for
that.
fans to be back as a whole, because
I like
just
that.
watching them on TV with the fans and the
Yeah,
atmosphere, you can hear them shouting
Yep.
and screaming.
yeah, I
It
like
it
that.
brings the energy into the game, honestly, and it's like it's
That's
excited
so
for me to watch
true.
it on TV, and then also I'm excited to go because I like to go to games every year, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back to a couple games. It sucked not going to a game last year, but it happens. But
God.
so yeah, I'm excited just to feel the energy back with all
Yeah.
the fans
You're
at the games.
you're so right about that too, and you know, Justin Herbert starting with no fans, and then this time it's gonna be a little different with fans. I'm so glad. See, I'm ending this. You know, this is our last segment, and we're stopping like that. That is such a great thing to mention right there. The fans coming back,
I'm
and
excited.
for me going to my first NFL game, I was gonna say that the most thing I'm excited for. That's one of the things. That would be my third thing, but yeah, no. You mentioning the fans coming back in that stadium, it's such a different energy. You're so right about that, Heinzman jerseys.
I'm yep, that's what I'm excited for. I'll keep it at that.
I
Yeah,
like that.
man, that's a good one. Of course, I think everyone, a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people are
Absolutely.
excited just to get back out to games. I also like Joe's 17 games, man. I think that's something to be excited for. It's one
More
extra
football.
dimension,
More football,
and
baby.
yeah, one more week of football, dude. An extra week of fantasy, an extra week of outcomes, and the way it could change things. Who knows?
Exactly.
Imagine last fantasy season if you just had one more week for things to play out. Who
So
knows?
exciting.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, good ones, guys. For me, real quick, as a Steelers fan, I just want to say I'm excited to see Najee Harris. Of course, I don't think there's too much to look forward to, but I'm taking my son to a Carolina Panthers preseason game when the Steelers are visiting Charlotte. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time together. Father-son moments. Get some food and drinks and watch some football. And we're going to see some of the guys out on the field probably for the first drive, like Big Ben and Najee Harris. So we'll at least have that moment. And then in the NFL, I don't have anything quite as serious as the other two guys. I'm excited for Motor City Dan Campbell. I don't know
Oh,
why. This guy is
Wow.
still on my mind,
Wow.
right? This guy is still on my mind in the NFL, and the fact that I'm just excited to see the Lions and what they might do. For
yo,
anyone that doesn't know, go on. What?
there was a video by Sports Center or something like that where Dan Campbell was doing the burpees with the players.
Yeah, yeah. He was doing the drill. He was doing
Yeah,
the up downs with them.
yeah, the up
hmm
downs. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. So I'm excited to see these guys. I'm excited to see how that team, pulls together. Maybe they corral around the coach, and maybe they're able to put together a decent season and win the NFC North, and put Aaron Rodgers in his place.
Whoa.
I, but if anyone doesn't know me, and every year I give my Super Bowl predictions, I say the same thing every
Oh my
year. I
god.
want it. I want it to be the two most snake-bitten franchises ever, even though one of them are my rivals, the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions. That's
Oh
my
my
Super Bowl
god.
pick every year. And you know what? If the Browns are on the up and coming, like everyone says, as much as I hate them, if they
Oh
do
jeez.
turn this into a prove it year, and if the Lions are able to do something along similar lines and they look good, that would be awesome, dude. I just want to see these teams do well, especially the Lions. I think the fans in Detroit deserves it. So I'm excited to see. Maybe it'll change.
Can I
Maybe.
say, in an alternate universe where Jared Goff gets traded to the New Orleans Saints, Jameis Winston's biting W's, and Dan Campbell biting kneecaps? That'd be some shit. But
I love it, dude.
oh man.
Great way
But
to end the show.
yeah, great way, guys. Great sleeper fantasy pick list. Yeah, it's so exciting. Football is finally here, fellas. I know this podcast went a little longer than had to, but this is called the sleeper fantasy pick. We are falling asleep. Are we? No, but
I'm actually
little bit.
perfectly fine. I'm hungry. I got some teriyaki steak going. I got some Japanese food I'm ready to heat up and eat, guys. I want to sit down and watch something like The Office, maybe some Star Trek. We'll see.
Bro, you're on the clock right now, just chilling.
yeah,
No.
seriously. Nobody
That's what's up.
holding to go to the bathroom? Not yet. Not
I
today.
gotta piss so bad.
I was waiting for that. Anyway, Triple FP, we are wrapping up. Just a little notable stuff before we wrap up. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter now. Follow at Heinzman Jerseys for your jersey. Again, we are still, I repeat, still giving away 2 jerseys, and that drawing will be happening, I believe, our next podcast, fellas. We are doing a live drawing right here. Please tune in. For those that have tuned in thus far, we thank you. And again, for all the support this past episode and weekend, I again want to thank all you guys. I want to thank these 2 fellas for making it happen. Again, it just felt like just yesterday that we were talking about starting this podcast, and for it to just grow more and more, it's just a blessing, and I'm grateful again.
Yo, drop the code for him again. Drop the code real quick.
I actually did on the video, and that free
beautiful.
special promo code is triple FP or triple F free. I'm sorry, triple F free.
And for the Twitter handle, it's at triple FP show. I want more than 12 followers. If I could get like 20, by the time we do this next show, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that. Go create a fake
Give him a
burner
shout out.
account. Create
Give him a
like
shout
5
out.
burner accounts and add me, man.
Again, I want to thank at Heinzman Jerseys too for giving us the shout out, giving us the love, showing us that you are very much, the host of this podcast as Dougie is or as I am, and this is just these are not my co-hosts. These are your hosts as well. There is no one greater because we all share this evenly and equally. Whether it's my expertise in getting this information out there, whether it's Heinzman's business point of and just showing the love with all his followers and just his business side of everything. And the aspects of like Doug and his information and how he could keep going with all the talk and the fantasy knowledge that he has, it's truly been grateful and a blessing, like for us 3 to make such a great team. And I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Joe.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Y'all, we was talking about this podcast like being a thing before it was a thing, and now it's actually a thing.
we talk
Right,
about
we
good stuff, and that's
We
what
just
Dougie
joked
kept
about
saying.
it, man. We're like, guys, wouldn't it be cool just to talk football and have a podcast one day? You're like, oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yo, I was just thinking, bro. 20 years from now, 20 years down the road, we could be like one of the
Oh my
biggest podcasts. Like the
I'm telling you,
possibilities
man,
are
I
endless.
can't wait to have our like own intro commercial on like Good Morning Football with your host
Feel me?
Dougie Press, Joe Ninja, and Heinzman.
I don't think we'd
Facts.
be that crazily famous, but no, I think
Hey,
hey,
reach
we
for the
never
stars,
know.
yo.
No, we never
Exactly.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we conversation for another day, guys.
absolutely. Please tune in for our next podcast. We're gonna have our live drawing, and then we will have more news on the preseason, injuries, and everything NFL football. And hopefully we
Sounds
get
like
that
a good
video
time.
game out. All right, thank you guys once again. You fellas have a great night, and Triple FP signing off.
Appreciate you, boys.
All right,
care.
y'all.